Is the Giants season over after only 4 games?
Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
Is this happening again? Are we finished after 4 games into the NFL season? Literally not even a quarter through anymore. We're not going to be at a quarter through until we get through the first quarter against Seattle, but it's looking like once again the Giants are 1-3. Once again the Giants are behind the curve and they have to fight an uphill battle just to get to 500. You got to win 3 games and lose none just to get back to 500. Malik Nabers isn't practicing, and he probably won't play on Sunday. The Giants in the last 10 years in their division, the Giants have been 4-17 against the Cowboys, 4-16 against the Eagles, soon to be 4-17 against the Eagles. So the exact same record against the top of their division. They have consistently lost. And I don't have those numbers in front of me right now, but I would imagine that the majority of the wins that the Giants went out there and got were against backup quarterbacks. Guys like Andy Dalton, guys like Nate Sudfeld, backups and third stringers that the Giants have beat in the last 10 years against the Cowboys and Eagles. It is absolutely embarrassing right now to be associated with this franchise, and we are off to the same season over and over and over again. Now, Giants fans have mixed feelings about this season. A lot of people thought maybe we win 3 games. Maybe we're the worst team in football. And some people thought we went over 10 games. Some people thought we would skyrocket because we got Malik Nabers, because Daniel Jones is finally going to be the guy, because we got Brian Burns, because the offensive line should be better, because Jalen Hyatt is now our third or fourth wide receiver. And that should mean that our third or fourth wide receiver is making plays downfield. But guess what? Brian Dable and company had different plans because Jalen Hyatt can't even get onto the football field, people. He can't even get on the football field. So people thought that the Giants would come out and win anywhere between 3 to 10 games. I was a guy, I thought the Giants could probably win 7 games, 8 games, and I thought if they really hit their stride, they win 9 games. Some of that is still on the table. We'll see how that plays out because they have been a little competitive the last couple of weeks, but the same issues remain. No clutch gene on this team at all. No clutch team. No one steps up in the clutch to win these games. And 2 players, and I'll take responsibility here because I was someone who said I did not want to pay a safety and I did not want to pay a running back because the Giants are rebuilding. But these 2 players were closing players. Saquon Barkley, Xavier McKinney, leaders, star players, closers. Xavier McKinney would catch interceptions at the end of games, close out games, make game-winning tackles, which is probably the player I wanted most out of these 2. Still, probably I would have leaned towards Xavier McKinney more. And you got Saquon Barkley, the heart and soul of the team. The heart and soul of the team. And I knew that we would take a hit by letting him walk. But at the same time, I did not think that we should pay him $15-16 million at running back. And I still sort of believe that. But the thing is, once you do that, you are going to suffer at the end of games. Not like we were winning a bunch of games either way with them last year, but you are going to suffer at the ends of games if you don't have closers. And the Giants don't have any right now. Kayvon Thibodeau's a closer like twice a year. Dexter Lawrence is getting double and triple teamed. So we don't necessarily have any closers. Malik Nabers has dropped a couple passes at the end of games. He's a rookie. He's 4 games in. What do we expect? So those are 2 things that the Giants are going to be thinking about all season long. Did they make a mistake by letting Saquon Barkley walk and letting Xavier McKinney walk? I think for the long-term future of the franchise, I think it was the right move. Again, McKinney a little bit more debatable. He's a younger player. He's a star. But I think that those 2 things are going to haunt Joe Schoen if he ends up losing his job at the end of the season because he probably needs to be competitive this season in order to retain his job going into next year. I don't think they can go out and be top 2, top 3 in the league and him still have a job. So that's something to consider. And then we gained an offensive line. We didn't sign Saquon and we didn't sign McKinney so we could go out and bolster the offensive line and go out and get Brian Burns and trade a 2 and a 5 for him, which I still think is a good trade. The 2 and a 5 for that guy, even if Brian Burns is a tier 2 pass rusher, which I think he is at this point. I don't think he'll ever get into that top tier at this point. But even if he is a tier 2 pass rusher, you do that trade 10 times out of 10 for a tier 2 guy. Now, paying him $30 million, that changes the entire discussion. Once you're paying the guy $30 million, there's expectations that come with it. But as far as the trade goes, don't have an issue with that. But the payment says that he should be the closer. He should be the game changer. And he was a big reason why Giants fans that we're optimistic. Because Brian Burns is here. He's going to get 10 sacks. Everybody just said it in the offseason. Brian Burns is guaranteed 10 sacks. If he stays healthy, he's guaranteed. He's a shoo-in for 10 sacks. And maybe he gets it. But he is not a tier 1 pass rusher. He's not. I think if this defensive line wakes up and plays as a unit, I think they can be a very good line. But right now, we don't have any individual unstoppable player but Dexter Lawrence. And even he can be stopped when he's getting double and triple teamed. Now, taking a look at the offensive line has been much improved. We've lost these battles against the Cowboys and against the Eagles in the trenches. We could not pass protect for years. And now we finally can pass protect. And it doesn't mean anything because the quarterback is no good. It doesn't mean anything. If the quarterback's no good, it doesn't matter who's blocking for him, who's running routes for him. He can't get it done. He can't get the ball to his receivers downfield. I don't know if it's the neck. I don't know if it's the confidence, but he cannot connect on the crucial plays in the football game to win these games. Is Daniel Jones the reason why we're 1-3? Probably not. I would probably put that more on the defense, more in some other things, but he's not a reason we're 3-1 because we could very well be 3-1. The only game we single-handedly should have lost is the Vikings game. And other than that, and in the Vikings game, he was horrible. So that gives you some more context. So the offensive line is improved. The defensive line is improved, but they still can't get a consistent pass rush when they need to against the better quarterbacks in the NFL. But the two glimmers of hope this year have been Andrew Phillips and Malik Nabers. The two glimmers of hope. We were like, okay, at least we got Andrew Phillips out there making plays, a missile at slot cornerback, a tackling machine, basically a linebacker, under 200 pounds. Andrew Phillips out there balling, shutting people down in the slot, physical. Just love the way he plays the game. He goes out. He gets hurt. He leaves the Browns game with an injury. And then Malik Nabers. Wow. Malik Nabers, I knew as an LSU fan, Malik Nabers was going to be a problem in the NFL. But as much as they're targeting him and as much as he's making an impact, it's still incredible. This is historical right here. Malik Nabers is carrying this offense on his back, and he's only 4 games in. And he's carrying the offense. He's carrying this offense more than anybody is carrying any offense in the entirety of the NFL. There's nothing close to what Malik Nabers is doing right now as far as carrying the New York Giants offense. And with 10 days rest after that Dallas Cowboys game, he's probably not going to be healthy coming back from that concussion, which is good. You don't want to rush anything back here. But he's probably not going to be able to come back even with the long week, even with the 10 days rest, which shows you, listen, the Giants offense is almost completely Malik Nabers. Now, through 4 games, he looks like a top 5 receiver in the NFL. He's accounted for, and I have it, approximately 45% of the Giants' passing yards has come through Malik Nabers. 45%. That's almost half of the entirety of the pass game is coming through Malik Nabers. That shows how much he's making things happen. And then 30%, 31% of their total offensive yards are coming through Malik Nabers. And this isn't through 1 game, this isn't through 2 games, this is through 4 weeks of the season. Malik Nabers is getting targeted at a ridiculous amount. I think at one point, Daniel Jones had 15 completions or something crazy, and Malik Nabers had 10 of them or something. It's been crazy since Malik Nabers has been here. And again, we cannot continue to throw him the ball this much, this close to the line of scrimmage, because he's going to end up not being able to stay healthy because he's getting hit like a running back We can't have these receivers getting hit like they're running backs. So that's something. He ends up going out because he's getting hit over and over and over again. And I don't think the concussion was a result of him getting hit a bunch and, like a cumulative thing. But I do think the more you throw it to him, the greater chance there is of him getting a concussion, because you just never know. He's going to get hit from all types of different ways, and it can possibly happen that way in a concussion. And that's what we saw. So to say that we'll miss him is an understatement. He's making up the entirety of the offense. He's that guy. And we're going into Seattle. We're gonna have Wan'Dale Robinson. We're gonna have Hyatt, and we're gonna have Slayton. It's gonna be the same as last year. I'm guessing Wan'Dale's gonna get probably like 12 or 13 targets, because he's been getting a ton of targets too. And it's probably gonna have to run through him. If he can have a huge game, maybe that opens things up for the other guys. But if Slayton and Hyatt get deep, who knows if Daniel Jones can actually throw them the football when they get downfield? Who knows? Because I don't have any faith that Daniel Jones can hit the deep ball, especially hit a deep ball that is a walk-in touchdown for a walk-in touchdown. He doesn't do that. It's just that simple. He doesn't do it. So not only am I concerned about our ability to go out and win that game, but I'm also concerned about the entertainment value. Take away Malik Nabers on offense. You have guys there, but again, when you don't have the right guy at quarterback, it becomes difficult to watch. You got the boring offense. You don't have Malik Nabers out there making plays. You just got Wan'Dale, who's going to move the chains, who's going to, be that threat between 4 yards and 12 yards. And then you got two deep threats who don't have a quarterback that can throw the deep ball. So you're going to get an extremely boring offense. You're going to get a quarterback who, when they play zone coverage, and when he's throwing against Tariq Woolen, he's going to have issues reading the field. And we're running into the same issues that we've been running into for the last 5 years here. So it looks again like the Giants are going to be going right back into this top 10 this year, picking at 6, 7, 5, 4. Who knows where we'll pick, but it looks like we're going to be in that top 10 again this year. I just hope that this is the last time that we're going to have a chance to take a quarterback and not take a quarterback. That could be the first round, that could be the second round. But I hope this is the last time that we're going to be in a position to take a guy to replace what we have there and not be able to capitalize. Malik Nabers has pretty much revived Daniel Jones' career from bottom 2 quarterback in the NFL to maybe top 25. And that took a lot. So if you want to know how Malik Nabers is getting this done, you want to know what Malik Nabers is out there doing, go ahead and click this video.